Public speaking and delivering speeches. Where are these essay writings useful to us? There are multiple types of essays that can be used for multiple purposes. You have given the solution. Now you have to persuade the reader to accept these solutions. Such kind of things can be written in the persuasive essays. In the newspaper, before a long paragraph begins, after the heading, there's a little secondary subheading. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to all of you to your prep school English classes. I am your English teacher, Kshama. Today we are going to talk about two amazing writing skills that are very essential to everyone. What are these two essential skills? It is the skill of writing essays and subtitling. Now you might be wondering, are we talking about the movie subtitles by any chance? Well, it could be a little deceiving, but we are not talking about the subtitles in films, okay? Let us dive deep and find out what are we talking about today, okay? First up, obviously, in this session, we are going to talk about what is essay writing, what is subtitling, why are we learning it, how does it come handy to us, what, why, when, where, how many, 5 W's and 1 H, is it not? Types of essay writing, and obviously the speciality of our session is that we put all the theory into practice. We see how it is done, okay? We bifurcate the entire thing, put it up in a structure, anatomical structure, and put it into practice as well, so that it is easier for you to do it. Subtitling, what is subtitling? How is it done theoretically? I'll talk about it, and then I'll also show you how subtitles are written and what role do they play, okay? This is a very basic introduction. Moving on. Every basic thing always grows up into something complex. Now, what is essay writing? What is an essay writing? It is a composition or a written piece of matter about any particular subject or a topic for that matter. You go on writing about it in a very elaborated manner. It's not like what we had discussed in our last written skills session, which was note making and summarization. On contrast to that, this one is very elaborate. You go on talking about a subject, okay? Let's see what is here. It is a long form of writing. It is a composition about a particular subject. More than one paragraph. If you condense it to one paragraph, it becomes summarization. But here, essay writing is a long composition, as I've told you, and it will have multiple paragraphs. It is written with the intention of persuading someone to prove a point or to inform about something, to give you the details about something. So the intention of it is to persuade or to inform. Next, is it just written in a haphazard manner? No. Every written skill for that matter has its own organization, has its own beautiful pattern that has to be followed, okay? But over here, there's no rigid pattern in essay writing. It's just very general and very basic. It has to be organized in such a way that it is understandable. First up, it should be readable. Then it should be understandable. Whatever that you read should be organized in such a format that you understand. Oh, this is what it is talking about. So easy, so crisp. Now, what are the skills that goes into essay writing? One should have linguistic skills, language skills. Okay, one should have vocabulary, analytical skills, critical thinking skills. Why? How does all of these skills go into just the basic essay writing? Now, in order to write elaborately on a subject, one's language skill must be strong. One's vocabulary, bunch of words that you have in your head, the dictionary that you hold in your head, the knowledge of words that you have, it should be strong so that you know when you're talking about a topic what appropriate word to use. And when you're trying to prove a point, it's not about how long you go on elaborating about things, how neatly you're able to persuade the point. For all that, critical thinking skills and analytical skills are very, very important. Then, communication and comprehension skills. How effectively through words are you able to communicate? Through word, you're able to make your readers understand what you're saying. Not just communicate, but make them understand, comprehend the whole thing. Then, public speaking and delivering speeches. Where are these essay writings useful to us? There are multiple types of essays that can be used for multiple purposes. Let's understand that after this. We got to know that essay, it is a long form of writing about a particular subject, okay, which is written to inform or to persuade, to prove a point or to inform something elaborately. Then what else? It should be organized, it should be comprehensive. One should be able to read it and understand it. It shouldn't be in a haphazard manner where you look at it and it doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be like that. And a lot of skills go into it. Linguistic, language skills, vocabulary, analytical, critical thinking skills, patience, everything goes into essay writing. Then why essay writing? I told you there are some of the reasons, there are some of the types of essays. And based on that, the first one is the narrative, where this essay is more like a story-based type, where you are narrating a story, narration. That type of essay is narrative, which is used to narrate an incident, what happened, how it happened. You put in a lot of details, intricate details. For example, in a book or in a short story, that is more of a narrative kind of an essay, where there's so much intricate detailing that has been given, where the book is placed, where the flower pot is placed, and how the flower is looking, what is the edge of the flower's color. Every intricate detail is given. That is narrative kind of an essay. Descriptive kind of an essay is also similar to narration, but more than narration, descriptions are filled in this essay. The third one is definition. You are defining a bunch of new words, a bunch of new concepts. Then there is a process. You are describing the process of how water recycling can be done. Then multiple processes can be defined through this, can be explained through this process essay. Then comes compare and contrast. You are comparing two ideas, two processes. That can be written under such kind of essays, whether to use chalk and board method or to use these technology-based methods to teach students, which is effective, which takes time. You compare and contrast. Then argumentative, you argue that, lecture method was best, where we used chalk and board. That was best, that was effective. But there's another, you have to prove your point by giving so many details. That is argumentative. Then expository. Expository is also where you are proving a point. And then cause and effect. All of this more or less comes under the same category, where you are giving the causes of air pollution, water pollution, or the causes of addictions, such as it could be social media, what causes the addiction, what are the effects that it has on people, and the problems. What are the problems? Now, I may be talking all of this quite seems interrelated, but it can be divided into its own kind of an essay. Isn't that amazing? Now, problems such as, what are the problems that social media is causing? It is causing problems like hacking, invading one's privacy. What are the solutions that could be offered? You write it in this essay over here. Then persuasive. Now, you have given the solution. Now you have to persuade the reader to accept these solutions. Such kind of things can be written in the persuasive essays. Now, so many types of essays, meaning so many functions the essay could do, right? Persuade, to discuss about the problem, to compare, contrast, to give you descriptions. For everything you have essay writing. Now that you know it is important for so many things. I'm sure you have written essays when you were in school, when you went to a competition or something like that. Have you ever read the whole thing once when you have finished writing? It would make you so proud when you realize you have so much of content in here and you have the amazing skill to deliver it through words, through your fingers, right? Now, everything has a beginning, middle, and an end. What am I talking about here? Am I talking about a book? Am I talking about a process? I am talking about the anatomy, the structure of essay writing. That's what we do, right? I introduce you to 5 W's and 1 H. What, why, when, where, and then we have to come to how. How do we do it? What is the structure? First up, every essay has a title. Obviously, yes. What it could be, the title could be a word, phrase, or a catchy sentence as well. Why should it be catchy? It should grab the attention of the readers. If I place 10 essays, why should I be, attracted towards your essay only? Because your title, my friend, is the catchiest of all and I want to read the essay. Give me, just hand it over to me. That's how catchy a title should be. Next up, you write the introduction. Okay, what should be in the introduction? It could involve a little anecdote, a little story, something that is in the first person. For example, you're not writing in the third person narrative. You write I, my. Okay, that is first person. When you write in the first person, you are dragging the reader into the circle of being intimate and talking about something really interesting, really personal. It's all like, you are holding all the friends in one circle and you're talking about something before a game begins, something like that. You need to do it in the introduction. Well begun is half done. When you have pulled the reader into your essay and the introduction is on point, then they would definitely want to read the entire essay. So the title, catchy word or a phrase, it is done. We have kept it there. We start with the introduction. What should the introduction be about? What should we talk about? We should talk about what is the title talking about? What is the topic all about? Now, I'm going to show you one essay that I wrote for you all about my favorite author in this format, which is very neat, very crisp for you to understand. I'm not saying my essay is neat. I'm just saying it is easier for you to understand. Okay. So over here in the introduction, we will talk about what is the subject about and why would you want to continue to read about it? What is in store for them? Market the whole thing. Do the marketing for your entire essay in the introduction. Marketing is done. When it is done, go to the body of the essay. Title is done, introduction is done. Then we go to the body of the essay where we are talking about whatever that we promised in the introduction. When the reader and the customer comes inside, you have to prove to them that, see, we have everything over here. The supporting details, the examples, the explanations, every statistical details, the data, everything should be here in the body of the essay. Within 2 to 3 paragraphs or even more, you'll have to use topic or problem sentence that you have picked up, the one thing that you have chosen to talk about in the body, you'll have to talk about it. The supporting sentences, examples and quotations, use examples in order to justify your essay, to be able to make it more authentic, make it more accessible to them. Use examples, use quotations. It will give your essay the weightage it requires. Okay. Then coming to the part of conclusion. What is the conclusion? After discussing the problem, whatever that is happening, for example, if I'm talking about social media, an inescapable devil is my title. And then in the introduction, I talk about what are the social medias that are, in the streamline major platforms that are there, and how is it luring all the youngsters into the pool of eternal losing themselves, that eternal pool of lost feeling they are stepping into. And in the introduction, I might talk about how the evils of social media, the major streaming platforms, like it could be YouTube, it could be Instagram, how they are luring the youngsters into this eternal pool of, lost and never found thing. So I would use a little anecdotes, what happened over here, and this is one instance I might use. And in my body of the essay, I would try to talk about what are the problems that the youth is facing, what are the problems that the old people are facing, how they are being hacked or their data is there is data theft that is happening. Then in the conclusion, I will have to talk about, I'll first have to summarize the whole essay, what was the point of the whole essay. And when I say a lasting impression, I have to imprint what I was intending to talk about, what was the whole idea of the essay, and how I have a change of perspective that I need to present over here. See, this is how we can deal with social media, and it can be just pickle to my entire rice and rasam and not be my entire platter of pickle. I don't have to consume pickle on a day-to-day basis like that. It can just be the pickle side dish to my entire platter. That's my approach to social media. I can do that. Now that would leave a lasting impression of your essay on the reader. They would want to read more of yours. Now after this basic anatomy of the essay, which would have a title and then an introduction, body and a conclusion, very basic. What is the key concept of a cool essay? when I say cool essay, it should have unity. It should be clearly linked. When you read through my essay or when I read through your essay, I should be able to link all the ideas together. Dude, this is what he is talking about. It's very clear. I understood. And then there should be coherence. There should be logical sequence, one after the other. And I shouldn't just go around like this reverse chronological order or the zigzag narration where I was talking about something and then I jumped into another thing. We are not doing any curious fiction film over here. It should be very logical. It should have a logical sequence and it should be relevant. Whatever the topic that you have chosen, it should be relevant. If only when it is relevant, people would want to read you, right? Then proportion. See what is the important thing that you have to include and negate or discard all the unnecessary things that you have written over. You will definitely have, once when you write down, you will have rough sketches, right? So when you have the rough sketch, discard all the unwanted things and keep whatever that is required, whatever that is relevant in a logical sequence and have unity. Be clear about your linkage between the topics. Moving forward, to slay any essay, what do you need? Now to slay any essay, choose relevant topic. As I told you, it should be very interesting, like the one that I have chosen for you right now. Organize the thoughts in a logical sequence. Do the rough work. I've told you already, do it. Be clear and concise with your sentences. Go through dictionary, use a lot of words that would like, in the place of a sentence, if you can use just one word, pick it up, learn new things, apply it here. Begin with a clear thesis statement. This is what we are going to see, okay? Do a crisp marketing in the beginning statement. Select an organizing pattern if you're talking about compare and contrast or problem and solution. Organize it in a neat way. Then write it in an engaging, interesting style. Do not write like you don't care about the reader. Don't be like, I don't care, you just read it or don't read it, discard it, whatever, do whatever you want. Don't have that don't care attitude. Please kindly interest your readers. Write it in a way that you want to talk to them and you are talking to them. I am talking to you. Hey, yes, you. That's how you have to grab their attention, okay? Be in an engaging and interesting style. Have your own style, but in a very interesting way. Strong supportive evidence. Do a lot of background work, a lot of research work, as much as you can. And the work that you do, the effort that you put in adds weightage to whatever work that you are doing, okay? Adds value to it. Then proofread it for all the mistakes, grammatical errors, punctuation marks, or the shuffling of ideas if it has happened. Proofread it and say yes to constructive criticism. Now, whose constructive criticism I am talking about? If I have read an essay, I would pass it on to a couple of my friends to proofread it after I have done it myself or before I have done it myself. They would point out at what is making sense, what is not making sense. I should be open to constructive criticism. Now, what is constructive criticism? Criticism that would help me grow, that would help me step up my errors, okay? Correct them and step up. That is why constructive criticism is very important. Then read voraciously, read a lot of things. Whatever subject that you're writing on, read voraciously, tremendously. Whatever that you get about it, read all of them, collect data. These are all the things that you have to do in order to slay any essay. Then this is, although I'm a little nervous about it, this is the essay that I have written for you. I hope you all like it. I hope you are able to get what I am saying when I have put it into practicality. Where is the beginning? What is the title that I have given? Is it catchy? And then where is the body of it? What is the conclusion of it? Does it make sense? Is there coherence, unity? Is it relevant? Is there a proportion of it? You will get to know it now. Reading Paulo Coelho. Paulo Coelho is one of my favorite authors. I know some might say Paulo Coelho is basic, but Paulo Coelho is life-changing, okay? Reading Paulo Coelho, that's my title. An involuntary pull into the world of reading. Again, I'm trying to lure you into my web of essay about Paulo Coelho. To whoever that thinks that it is not my cup of tea, if you think that reading is not your cup of tea, see how I'm trying to keep it engaging. I care about you. I want your attention on this. That is why I'm trying to make it interesting, trying to make it engaging for you all. If you think reading is not your cup of tea, then I would suggest you prove yourself wrong when you come across a man named Paulo Coelho. That's how I would start. Okay? A man named Paulo Coelho. It is said that most often you don't choose a book chooses you. I believe in that totally. Okay? But it all starts with you choosing to enter the colorful spectrum of Paulo Coelho's world and never look back. Now here I am doing my marketing for Paulo Coelho free. It is not paid promotion. Okay? So it is true that every single writer is only a drop in the vast ocean of literature. But if your first drop is something like Paulo Coelho, the vast ocean of literature, endless ocean of literature is all you end up craving for. That's what I've written. Here I've done total unpaid promotions for Paulo Coelho and his work because I really want you to read him. That's what it is. I'm trying to persuade you with regard to Paulo Coelho. There is a title, there is an introduction, which you get to decide if it is catchy or not. And then moving on to the body of the essay. Now that I've introduced you to Paulo Coelho over here, let's move on and see. Now, I'm not going to read the entire essay and bore you. Don't worry about it. Here, I talk about, now I'll have to prove you that, it's not just me who is saying for you to read Paulo Coelho. I am actually telling you there are millions of people reading Paulo Coelho because of the way he writes. I mean, the subjects he touches upon and how he leaves an eternal mark is a topic to marvel upon. It's just beautiful, and you'll be left starstruck. You will be left speechless once when you read Paulo Coelho. It's just from usual to very unusual topics that he talks about, but just in the way that he knows how to reach you. Okay. So I've just noted a couple of his famous works that I have also read. It could be The Alchemist, The Winner Stands Alone, Reader, 11 Minutes, and the list just goes on. These are highly popular. And this paragraph over here, I have extracted from a statistical source because I wanted the exact data. So I have picked it up, a couple of details, because it had a lot of numbers, like how many languages is it translated to from this year, and he's the 4th richest. As of 2023, he has published 33 books. All of this statistical data, I've done a lot of research and I've gotten it from a website that I will share it with you from. But with this, what am I doing? I am trying to prove my point. That thing over there, the first paragraph, I am giving you all the names of the books. I'm trying to persuade you. I'm informing you in the first paragraph and I'm trying to persuade you in the second paragraph. Moving on, this is my conclusion and this is the reference site which I took my statistical data about Paulo Coelho from, which is very important because when you have done your research and gotten your data, when you mention it in your essay, it is very important to mention the source from which you took it from, because otherwise it would be data theft. You are taking somebody else's data, right? And there are certain data that you can't create by yourself. These are just said and it is there, out there, such as the statistical data or the year in which something happened, that you have to take it, but mention the source from which you have taken it. Okay. So in my conclusion that I have written, I want you to get the entire essay just from the conclusion. Now, the perspective about reading, why have I given Paulo Coelho, or why did I chose to talk about this essay in particular, is for the fact that over the years, the idea of reading books has, it has beautifully, wonderfully changed. It has gladly broadened. When I say broadened, it's not just for the sake of, getting marks or scoring. You read something. You read something to be able to appreciate it. You like an author. I see a lot of kids these days holding books of very well-known authors to authors that are known to none, okay? And you talk so passionately about it. You say that, in this part of this book, this author has written like this, presented it like this. And I'm personally very happy about it, because the idea of reading a book is not just to score some random marks out of some marks that is fixed. It's not just to get 80 out of 100 or 85 out of 100, but it is to be able to appreciate it, and not just appreciate it. Here, if you see, Reading is to imbibe and create as well. When you appreciate it, what do? You have read a book today, you appreciate it, you have gotten inspired from it, you have taken, sucked in a couple of points, but then now you are so highly motivated to create something of your own. Tomorrow, reading books just might lead you into writing a book of your own, or multiple books for that matter. God bless you, that might happen. To all the budding readers and writers out there, this is your omen. Now, I am trying to leave a lasting impression here and I'm not letting you go. Okay? Omen to jump into the pool of vivid books by Paulo Coelho and be the Santiago of your life. Now, this reference when I make, only for the ones who have read The Alchemist, they will know what reference I am making. Okay? Does the reference sound unknown? Then why are you still here and not surfing through the pages of Paulo Coelho's books? Why are you still here and not looking at and not reading Paulo Coelho? That's how strongly I would want to persuade you to reading any books for that matter, not just Paulo Coelho, and broaden this world of literature, contribute your ideas, your thoughts. Now with this essay, there was so much we could do, right? So many areas we could touch upon with this just simple essay, which was what? Some 3 to 4 paragraphs, that's all. That is what an essay could do. Now I hope you got the title, the introduction, body of it, conclusion. That is how simple it is, yet so effective essay writing could be. Write your own essay on whatever topics that you really like. Persuade me into, believing in it. If you like anime, if you like any of the series, if you like any of the books, write about it in such a way, give it a catchy heading, write the introduction that is mind-blowing, that would just suck me into what you are doing and what you are trying to say, and make me also watch anime, who knows, okay? So do it, give it a classy conclusion, and make me wait for what you write next. Moving on, I had told you we are not talking about the subtitles that are there in the film. Subtitles in the film make our viewing experience so much better. Like every word that they are speaking will be coming down. Clear? That is how subtitles in movies help. But over here, think of the same subtitles in the written context. You might have seen them in the newspaper or when you were surfing through any article. In the newspaper, before a long paragraph begins, after the heading, there's a little secondary subheading. Okay? A subtitle is nothing but, in the written context, we are talking in the written context, it is a secondary or explanatory title, which means before you jump into reading an entire passage, which is very long, this is a short title. So it's not a heading, it's a short title. Now heading is over here. If I write subtitling, the process of it, I'm going to talk about the process. Now you don't have to read through the entire thing to know what is here. You know, it is process of subtitling that we are going to talk about. This was my heading, this was my subtitle. It's very clear, you know that, right? Now, subtitle is in the written context that we are talking about. It is a secondary title or explanatory title to that whole passage. The nature of it should be like that. To each or a bunch of paragraphs, there will be one subtitle. To each paragraph also you can give a subtitle, but that would like cut me away from reading the entire paragraphs. But for 2-3 paragraphs, if you have given one subtitle, that will be enough. Identity. So whatever the topics that are being addressed, subtopic talks about it. It acts like a identity. It's like an identity card to the following passages that follow. Next, makes it easier to read. If you do not wish to read about something, you can just skip it when you know in the subtitle it is written. What is it talking about? For example, I was reading a paper, then it says urbanization. There are multiple paragraphs. I might not want to read it that day, or I might not be in the mood to read it that way. I might skip and go to the next thing. So that way it saves my time and energy that I spend on reading. You have to choose really wisely when you're choosing the subtitle. You will have to make it obvious what the reader would get out of those 2-3 paragraphs that they're going to read. The synecdoche of essays. So as long as you have known literature and English, synecdoche is something, it is a part of something that represents the whole. So now this process represents this whole bunch that I've written. So it is the synecdoche of essays, don't take the same words that are there in the title as the subtitle as well. I can't write subtitling over here. This is my heading now. And this process of subtitling that I'm explaining it to you, or how is it done, that is my subtitle. So don't take the same word. Try to rhyme it. Try to keep a subtitle that rhymes. Then it will be catchy for the reader. For example, if it is the process, let's express the process or talk about the process. If you get a rhyming word, then it will be easy to remember. Okay, there will be a rhythm that will be created. Say more with less. Subtitles also, try to keep it really short. Most of the subtitles that you would see in the written context, it will be very short, like one word. Okay, so try to keep it shorter. Here in an example, let's see how it is done, or how was it that you write a subtitle in the essay. We are not going to read the entire essay. Don't break your head over the screens. Now first up, English language in India. What is English language in India over there in bold letters? Heading, yes. Here, background of English language in India. We could have just put background. Now background is our subtitle, or background of English language. Or you can keep the entire sentence, background of English language in India. That is how a subtitle looks like. Now, I don't have to read through this entire passage in order to understand what is it talking about. I don't have to break my head over it. I just know that this passage, is it important for me? It is talking about the background of English language in India. I might not want it. I might just discard it. If I want it, I will go through it and I'll read the whole thing. Next up, the present scenario. Present scenario of what? Present scenario of English language in India. Understood. Now this whole paragraph talks about what? Present scenario of English language in India. I don't want the background. I don't want the present scenario of English in language in India. I know it. I've read it already. But if I have not read it, I'll spend time on reading it, because now I know it is talking about present scenario. Then international relationships. I'm sure now you're getting an idea of what is the subtitle. Subtitle is an identity or the representator of this entire paragraph. Clear? Medium of education. English language is being the medium of education in India majorly. That is what this is talking about. It is a fact that our national languages are not so much developed. So now we use English as a medium of education throughout the world, or at least in most of the countries. So I would want to know about this. I will read it. So in order to know whether I agree with it or do not agree with it, this would be important, because I know it is talking about medium of education. That is an area which is relevant to me. So I will read it. Okay. That is how subtitles will help you. Subtitles will save your time, energy, and make the reading experience easier and smoother for you. So on that note, you understood how to slay any essay, how to write your own essay. I have written my own and given you an example, handed it over to you on your platter. I would be very happy to get all of your essays. Sit down, take your favorite topic, choose your favorite topic, brainstorm about it, get some ideas, tell me about what you want to write some rough sketches, and then put it into title, body, title, introduction, body, and then conclusion about it. Pick up an interesting topic or the topic that you like, so that you would be able to write it with whole heart and come up with an amazing essay. Tell me what changes your essay can bring by 1 or 2 people reading it. Okay. And subtitling also, pick up any essay or any newspaper article or any research paper, read through it first, and then you decide what subtitles each paragraph or 2-3 paragraphs should get. Practice it and acquire these 2 skills of essay writing and subtitling. Both of them are really handy. Essay writing especially is the skill that all the writing skills for that matter are just so human in nature that nobody else, no other machine can replace it. Your thoughts, your ideas put into your words by your own self, nothing compared to that. Okay, so be ready with your own essays, be ready with all the subtitles, creative, quirky, all the fun subtitles that you can give. I'll see you all in the next class, waiting for all of you. Have a great time. I'll see you all.